a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
5 shall go west to the goddess in chains. 1 shall be lost in the land without rain. The bane of Olympus shows the trail. Campers and hunters combined prevail. The Titan's curse must 1 withstand, and 1 shall perish by a parent's hand.
Welcome to Of the Eldest Gods, where we discuss Rick Riordan's role as our godly parent.
I'm Ray from Cabin 12.
And I'm Charlie from Cabin 13.
And I'm Alex, also from Cabin 13.
What?
Hi, Alex!
Whoa!
Hey, fam!
My sibling!
Not only are we pod family, but we're cabin family.
Yes, we are.
Unlike Percy, who has to be in a cabin all on his lonesome.
Yeah.
Here.
Our cabins are next to each other, so we're like honorary.
Oh my god, we're neighbors!
Wait, wouldn't they be like opposite? Because it's like odds on one side and even on the other. So I think you're across the way.
Okay, wait,
but
so
like...
no, this was actually described in the chapter that we read today. And it is Zeus and Hera in the middle, and then the 5 male god cabins on one side, and the 5 female goddesses on the other in a ring.
Yeah, but that's odd and even, isn't it?
It might be.
You know what?
So we're both right.
Well,
yeah!
Cabin 13 messes up the whole thing, so don't worry about it.
Also,
for
Cabin
now.
12 does, because Dionysus is the extra male god, technically, so...
So am I on the girl side? That's
yes.
fine. Dionysus, gender fluid king.
Yeah, also, this whole girl side, guys side, get out of here with this nonsense. We're immortal gods. We don't ascribe to a mortal-made gender binary.
Listen.
Absolutely.
Let's get
it in this gender fluid river. The water's great.
In this chapter, the genders are hunter and camper. So... Am I wrong?
Absolutely.
The 2 genders. I was gonna make a joke that Alex is the old dead friend come to visit, but...
I might be old, but if you think that I'm dead, Charlie, I mean, I can leave.
You're a child of Hades. Like, I also feel like you're dead inside like I am. Am I wrong?
No, Alex has life energy.
I am very much a Persephone.
I
am the bubbly goddess of eternal sunshine who on the but also listens to death metal and has a garden in the underworld.
Absolutely.
You're like the pastel goth.
Yeah. Well, not even like pastel, just like happy energy goth.
All of the above.
If Taylor was here, that would be our old dead friend.
Aw, shout out to Taylor.
Wait, let's kick Alex out and grab Taylor.
Hey, you can't kick me out of my own cabin. I earned my right to be here.
That's true. Do not send me to the Hermes cabin.
I have been claimed by my goddaddy.
Alex, we have coffins in this cabin instead of bunks.
That's amazing. I don't have to share with anybody. Sharing bunks? No.
I want a bunk coffin with you. Like just
okay, Charlie, you might be the one person that I make that exception for. Cool. Bottom bunk or top bunk, though?
I mean, I could go for either. I've got on the top, I've got on the bottom. You know,
great.
I can be a switch for you.
You know what? We can go back and forth. Why not?
I'm the same way.
Your coffin's my coffin.
See, the top bunk gives me a sense of power, but on the bottom bunk you can make a fort. And
ooh, this is true.
So many perks.
Yeah. It's really a toss up.
I promise we're not talking about sex position, y'all.
You're not.
I don't even want to know what the fort would be a metaphor for.
I don't either. And you know what? This whole chapter, like this whole first half of this book has just been full of sex shaming, and we also have to talk about Grover, because I'm not down for Grover.
We've been talking about that, bro.
There's been some choices made.
Yeah,
in this whole,
and they were bad. Like, I want to get just like my cat right now that is fucking with everything in sight to get my attention, and get the squirt bottle. No, Rick, no. There are some tropes that should die.
Yeah, me too, bro.
And for the people who don't know who this special guest is, I'm Alex, who is also a lovely pod family network buddy, friend, old pal of my dear friends Ray and Charlie, and I'm a co-host on My Cabbages, an Avatar podcast, and also diehard Greek mythology fan. Happy to be here.
Very much.
Welcome to the world of Percy Jackson. How has your flight been from Avatar Land?
You know what? I'm just glad that Zeus did not strike me down on the way here.
Always a plus.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so guys.
Thank you for riding Appa Airlines. We hope you have a safe and wonderful journey.
See, over there you guys have Appa Airlines. We have Apollo Airlines.
Which, you know what? Here it works. I would totally fly in Apollo's magic school bus Maserati.
I now need fan art of Apollo riding Appa, but like Appa is the sun.
Appa could pull it off.
Oh, absolutely.
I think this is beautiful.
I mean, if you just see
energy.
Very cat bus energy, yeah, and then throw some of Appa's amazing meteor, whatever armor on there that they have in the Invasion for the Black Sun, and you're in business. At least we know Appa's sunproof. Maybe not sunproof, but fireproof.
Oh my goodness. Good shit.
Now all I can think of is Appa trying to stop, drop, and roll.
Oh no!
But that would never happen because Katara would just put out the fire.
Leave Appa alone!
So yeah, that episode, y'all. Percy Jackson.
Here we read chapters. Excuse me.
Oh, well, wait, you don't watch your chapters? There's no show here? No one told me I had to read something.
Yeah, there's about to be. It's gonna be pretty soon.
Yeah, that is actually, speaking of the show, while I was reading this chapter, and we get, or just the book and catching up, we get a nice description of Mr. D and his curly black hair. Mm-hmm. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? Damn, I hope they cast Jason Mantzoukas as Mr. D. And I was like, I Googled, I'm like, wait, who did they cast as Mr. D? And I'm like, oh, that's why I think that he would make a good Mr. D. And now here we are. And now every time I'm visualizing Mr. D in my head in every conversation, it's already Jason Mantzoukas.
As it should be. As is good and right.
Mm-hmm. He's perfect.
And I saw that they also cast Megan Mullally as Mrs. Dodds, which is gonna be a small role, but perfect.
Good shit.
I'm so excited for that. Like,
all
of the casting is really exciting.
Yeah, I know. They nailed it. Unlike in a previous piece of media. Hey, there's another piece of media we are not going to talk about.
I think the fandom...
Something else our fandoms have in common.
I think the fandom collectively says that, like, Logan would have been good if he was the right age. Like, right actor, wrong time. But, you know, it's too late. He should be Poseidon. I still want that. It's not gonna happen.
You can dream.
Probably not. Yeah. I want to move on, but I think he was fine in it. You know, and they're gonna age him up in the show anyways, also, because it only makes sense to do so for TV, you know?
He's already 13, he's playing a 12-year-old, okay?
Alright. Hey guys, let's talk about the chapter in which an old dead friend comes to visit.
Which is not me.
Which is...
Or
sort
Taylor.
of a misleading title, but whatever.
You wouldn't call her an old or a dead friend, would you?
I would use the word friend loosely
friend
here.
Seems a little bit of an exaggeration.
It's a sarcastic friend.
But it should be in quotation marks. That is the attention to detail with these chapters that I would expect from Riro.
That's true.
All right, so Percy and Grover spend some time talking about dreams, which is everyone's favorite pastime. And we discovered that Artemis could be in trouble. Plus, there's some Persephone slander. Thanks, Rick. We'll get into that.
Grabs torch and pitchfork.
Grover reveals to Percy that Annabeth had a Hunters of Artemis brochure in her backpack.
The betrayal!
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, that's like the most dramatic thing that happens in this chapter, surely. It can't get any worse than this. Percy heads up to the big house to try to get a prophecy from the Oracle. No luck there. And then we head to capture the flag that night. No one is happy with this.
Except the hunters.
Well, they don't even want to be here at this point. Zoe's like, excuse me, you want me to play capture the flag? What? All right. Percy and Talia co-captaining goes about as well as can be expected. They have different wartime philosophies.
I think they have two similar, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll get there. Percy continues to be aggravated by Nico. That's just a little note. Zoe Nightshade steals their flag, and tensions are so high that Percy and Talia start fighting, physically fighting. Chiron is so done with everyone.
Fight.
And then the Oracle shows up to give a prophecy, but not to Percy. Zoe gets one.
Oh!
Perhaps the most dire prophecy yet. It's gonna be a bumpy ride, guys.
So get aboard the Appa Cat bus, and let's do this.
Oh my goodness. I will forever picture Apollo in the Appa Cat bus now.
Yeah, so much happens. This is a good chapter. Like, after I read this one, and don't get me, every time I'm on this podcast, it is truly an honor. But I have to say that this chapter is way better than when I was on for book 2.
Wow.
This is an exciting book, and book
it's
2...
so good!
As much as I like book 2, I know that it's, like, not one of the better ones in the series.
It's like my least... Book 2.
Yeah.
Titan's Curse, I feel like this is one of the ones where it's people's favorite. It's this one and the last one.
This one slaps. We start in media res. My only thing that I was not expecting was Annabeth to meet her demise so early. Hopefully I know, but I was like, wait, so book 2 is Grover goes missing. Now book 3, Annabeth. Like, when are we gonna get the crew back together?
And book 1, it was Sally.
So everyone gets kidnapped. God, this is just like an Avatar.
Who's gonna get kidnapped next?
Every single person in, like, every episode in book 1, somebody gets kidnapped.
Oh, we need a kidnap count.
Multiple.
We need a kidnap count now.
So, and not just Annabeth, but also Artemis? Artemis in chains? Question mark?
Yeah, the goddess in chains, I guess. It's not great.
It's not great.
This is a good book. This is a distressing book.
Oh, very distressing.
The stakes are high,
We're getting heavy in this one.
I'm invested.
Yeah, it's great.
So before we go into our fun close reading, I'm gonna give you a little bit of in case you missed it, but I sent y'all the links to the things that I were looking at.
Oh, did you?
Yes. The fun thing is, the first one, it is very, very short. It's gonna be the dragon page there, and you have to scroll all the way down to
was there a dragon here?
Yeah, there was.
Yes, very briefly mentioned, and then I caught it, and it was cute, but only because I've been reading a lot.
There was the baby dragon that is guarding the fleece now. So.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
So,
which Jason and the Argonauts, the dragon that was guarding the golden fleece.
It's
about that.
Yeah. Yep, it's the Colchian dragon. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Colchian? Colchis? It's just wonderful.
I don't know that I like that word. It reminds me of cloaca, the chicken hole.
Oh, yeah. I hate that word.
No. Let's not bring up cloacas again.
Yeah, the Colchian sounds right, because Colchis is the location.
Yeah.
Or the region where the fleece and where King Hades is steady chillin'.
Yeah.
That makes sense then.
It's a fun one. So this dragon, it's only got a little paragraph about it. It's one of the children of Typhon and Echidna, as like basically most monsters are. And it guarded the golden fleece. Wow. Amazing. Beautiful. But the fact that it never slept or rested, that's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, that's so sad. It's just a little guy.
I wonder if it's because, dragons just don't need to sleep, or is it, like, was there someone whose post was there to make sure that this dragon just never fell asleep? Like, no, you're sleeping, no sleeping on the job.
Oh, no.
Nah, well, if it never sleeps, and it has to, then it would die. It's gotta be enchanted or immune to sleepiness.
But it's not, because the way that Medea gets past the dragon is she puts it to sleep.
Yeah,
I think that's just wrong right there. That just shouldn't be a thing.
Dragons are special. Maybe they don't need sleep, but they get sleepy.
I mean, the dragon in The Hobbit was just steady, like, on his pile of gold, sleeping, and only came out when he got hungry and needed to go find another person to eat from the local village.
Oh, Smaug.
Yeah.
That's a decadent dragon.
That sure is a dragon.
See, this dragon has a job. So the standards are different.
Let's not forget that they had to put out an ad in, like, the Olympus, like, newspaper to hire this dragon. And they've hired a baby dragon that is now just there, and they're feeding it.
I'm just imagining Spike from MLP just under
oh
the
my
tree.
God! It is. It's Spike. Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And that's basically it. It's a dragon.
Well, you know what? At least when you mentioned earlier that, like, its parents were Echidna and
Typhon.
And Typhon. So yeah, Typhon. So at least the one thing that this dragon doesn't have to worry about, it knows more than any other people, at least in the Hermes cabin or any half-bloods, like the poor D'Angelo twins, they at least know who their parents are.
This is very true. I just think it's weird that, like, this dragon that, like, appears in one place has the special parents, you know? The special parents that are the parents to all the really cool monsters. I don't know.
Works for me. Dragons are pretty special. I'd like to imagine that this is just the same dragon just going through its life cycle again. You know? It's like, okay, I have references. Like, I've done this before.
I think it eventually gets a name, but this was the first time it was mentioned, so I'm like, oh, finally, baby dragon. So, but let's go on to what everyone here wants to talk about. Because I know, Alex, you're on the edge of your seat. You want to talk about the girl, the woman, our girl, Persephone.
Okay.
I love.
Okay. So when they're arguing over who Grover and Percy are having a conversation about what could possibly mean with this terrible dream that Percy has had, and which I find ironic because my alt title for this chapter would have been Nightmares and Daydreams, which is also the name of the chapter that Charlie was on my Cabbages.
I think that was an episode that I was on for.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe something like that. Anyways, so they're having this conversation recapping by what Percy's called his standards, a doozy of a dream, and Artemis is in chains, and what could this possibly mean? And they're like, oh, well, Persephone, she got kidnapped, and how do you kidnap a goddess? And oh, well, Persephone wasn't that big of a deal. She was only the goddess of flowers and springtime.
Oh my God.
Only! Please,
what
someone.
Was the exact quote, actually? I need to find that moment.
I have it dog marked, actually. I totally bent the page in my book because we needed to talk about it. So let's see here if it doesn't go on to 2 pages. Grover says, how are you to get orders from Artemis if Artemis is lost? Percy, what do you mean lost? Like, she needs directions? No, I think she meant gone, taken, kidnapped. Kidnapped? I tried to get my Ryan around that idea. How could you kidnap an immortal goddess? Is that even possible? Well, yeah, I mean, it happened to Persephone, but she was like the goddess of flowers. Grover looked offended. Springtime! Whatever, Artemis is a lot more powerful than that. Who could kidnap her and why?
Okay.
So, yeah, both of them.
At least Grover has some respect.
Yeah, Grover
Put some respect on Persephone's name.
Grover is affronted, but even then, we should know that it's not just springtime.
Like,
and,
maybe springtime, I guess, before she was kidnapped, but like, I don't know. Did she really have a domain before?
I don't think so.
We'll get into this.
Probably did because her well, no, it wasn't her kidnapping that made the weather like it was. It was Demeter's reaction to her kidnapping.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So I think
if
after
she did
that, she gets the springtime thing. I would think after her being kidnapped, she's like, oh yeah, when you're around, you're the goddess of springtime, kind of thing.
So before that, she was just
she was there.
Well, I'm thinking I'm getting distracted
she
by
was a harvest goddess. I think just, you know, a lower deity associated with the harvest and grain.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense to me. I'm getting confused because I'm thinking of Hades, because they call her Kore before she gets kidnapped, and then Persephone afterwards, which isn't necessarily canonical. But Kore is one of her names, which is just the maiden.
It kind of is, but it isn't. I mean, I wouldn't say that's not a wrong interpretation of how.
I mean, she definitely becomes associated with the underworld after she is kidnapped,
right?
Then spends part of the year in the underworld.
So the thing about her name, so Kore or Cora, it just means the maiden. So I would say that definitely would have been her name pre the rape of Persephone, the kidnapping of Persephone, that whole shebang. Because, like, that's her maiden form. And then Persephone...
Oh, is that, like, actually how it works?
And like, that's how it goes in Lore Olympus.
Yeah, that's her name. This is why I associate Persephone as, like, a trans goddess. I'm like, well, let's see. She goes between the underworlds. She's, like, a liminal goddess. She goes between the underworld and the overworld, and she gets a whole name change. I don't know. Transgender Persephone is my thing, so...
I'm here for it. But I mean, I think it's actually an interesting juxtaposition against Artemis and Persephone because, you know, as we've seen in previous chapters that y'all have talked about and people familiar with mythology, Artemis is your maiden goddess and protector of young women, and actually, like, you know, they make it very clear in this book, which I'm surprised they're so heavy-handed with it, is that, oh, you can live forever and, you know, just read this pamphlet, health benefits, total immortality, except if you die in battle. I mean, that's like a little footnote, but whatever. Otherwise, you live forever, and you can never kiss a boy, you know, just, that's fine. If you kiss a girl, though, that's totally cool. We're down with that.
It's not, though?
Yeah, well, they don't say that in the pamphlet, so, read the fine...
That ought to have been specified.
Yeah.
I think this is entrapment.
Yeah, so the whole idea of, like, the maiden, and Cora, as you mentioned, Charlie means girl or maiden, and then it's not until she is kidnapped, you know, in depending on which version of you myth work at, sometimes Zeus helped out, so to help his brother, kidnap his niece, so... Okay, but anywho, here we go, and so it was like, against her will that she became goddess of the underworld, unfortunately, but I think now, like, that juxtaposition between no longer being a maiden and unfortunately throughout myth, even if women were subject to SA, yeah, they were often blamed for it. Fuck you, Hera.
Yeah, there's so much complexity going on with this myth, and, like, the fact that, literally, like, the term rape was, like, just kidnap in Greek. That's another big thing there. And then there's also something to do with, like, in artistic, like, interpretations of, like, kidnap and marriage. It's actually the same pose in, like, Greek Greek art. It's just the man leading the woman, like hand holding. Yeah. Look up the Hades and Persephone video on OSP. They will explain this better than I can, but...
Link in the show notes.
Basically, Greek culture has no respect for women.
No, none whatsoever. So Persephone. Okay, what does the name Persephone mean? I always forget, but I know it's like destroyer.
Bringer of death.
Yeah, to bring death. I know the beginning of it, the Perse part literally means to destroy, because Percy's name means to destroy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's not forget that.
Yeah.
And oh, that's right. That's not going to be on here. Okay. I was thinking about theory things where she is kind of associated with Despoina, who is another goddess, who is technically the child of Poseidon and Demeter instead, which this, again, my brain is going all to the OSP stuff where I'm like, that's technically just a theory, but I like to bring it up because it also makes so much sense. But the Persephone here is a daughter of Zeus and Demeter, so she marries her uncle. Fun times. She's the goddess of the dead, life, grain, spring, nature, and destruction. We stand.
Of course we do. Okay.
I mean...
For real, Percy. Flowers. I'm so angry. Like... Nature gods are so powerful. Like, this, it's a whole thing.
Fertility goddesses. It's a thing.
Oh, and look who's...
What is Artemis the goddess of, Percy? The hunt? Come on.
I mean, yes. The answer is yes.
I'm just saying, spring or the idea of hunting.
Well, I mean, and I know that's been a thing for Percy. When he's still learning in the first book that he is a demigod, and he's been told all his whole childhood and in school about Greek mythology and why it should be important, and it's like yada yada yada. Yeah, oh, that some goddess somewhere sometime did that thing, and then Grover or Chiron or someone has to be, well, yes, but also this other detail that you're forgetting that's kind of important, you know?
Yeah, Percy doesn't know shit. No. I love the boy.
None whatsoever.
And I know, like, with dyslexia, like, reading kind of hard, but okay, then just go read it in ancient Greek. You're fluent in ancient Greek, so just go read the ancient Greek. I don't know. Would that help? Or just make it worse?
He's got ADHD. He does not have the time or the mental energy for that.
Okay, an audiobook then. Come on.
What year is it? Like 2006? How accessible is that going to be?
Okay.
He's just a little guy.
When I was I remember going to the library and you could get all the books on tape. My teacher got sick of reading Harry Potter, so she just put it on tape. That was her study planning. In 3rd grade, when we read The Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone, it literally was just, here we go, click, and we listened to this really cool British dude read Harry Potter to us, and my teacher went to her desk and ignored us for now.
Wonderful.
Everybody
That's
wins.
Interesting that was part of the curriculum.
This is how teaching works. Okay, this is very interesting to me that in Orphic traditions, we love Orphism on this podcast.
Of course we do.
Her mother is Rhea, so like the Titaness, like Kronos' wife, Zeus's mom.
Like I said,
I don't.
Those fertility goddesses.
I have questions here. I feel like at some point we're gonna have to do like a whole bonus episode just on Orphis, because I have so many questions about Orphis. And of course, her children. We got Zagreus on here / Dionysus. We've got in Orphism, the Furies are her children. All right.
Okay.
And then Melanoe, who is a goddess of nightmares and sadness or madness. Fun stuff. Fun shit. So, I mean, we all know the story of how Persephone gets kidnapped. She's picking flowers, Hades bursts through the earth, she is snatched, and sometimes this is because of Zeus. I think I prefer that version where it's like, Zeus is like, yeah, like, that's my daughter, she is my property, I'm giving her to you, so it's not Hades' fault. I don't want it to be Hades' fault.
But your mom, yeah, her mom ain't gonna be cool with you marrying her, so we gotta do this on the deal.
Yeah, I want it to be Zeus's fault. I want Hades to have no clue what the fuck's going on.
In general, in mythology, Hades kind of just does his own thing. He doesn't give a fuck about people up on Olympus, and this is the one example of when he makes himself known in the mortal realm.
This is one of his only, real stories. He doesn't have a lot of big stories and things that he's involved in.
Right, because you don't want to tell stories about death that's bad luck and stuff, so...
Exactly.
You just kind of ignore all the chthonic gods.
The Greeks didn't talk about him, which is why there's there's the theory about okay, let me just bring up Despoina's page because she's just a really weird one where an unknown goddess of mysteries, and her name isn't really a name, it's a title. It means the mistress. And her whole thing is with Demeter and Poseidon instead. Yeah, so Greek religion, Greek culture, it wasn't static, as we all can probably tell. So at one point, Poseidon may have been the underworld god instead of Hades, which is why these three are linked in this weird way, which is why, like I said, there's a possible theory that Despoina might have been Persephone. Just because, there's just this whole association with the underworld going on there. And again, the whole fact that, the names, the Kore and Despoina, they're not names, they're titles. And you don't really want to name an underworld god. Kind of thing, you know? A lot of the times Hades was called, the Dark Zeus or something like that. Hades, or Zeus of the underworld or something like that. You don't want to call upon them. You don't want to say their name. Names of power!
Speaking of which, I was looking at Persephone's epithets down here on the page, and one of hers is Aristi Chthoniya, which is the best chthonic, which I love for her. She really
Beautiful.
is the best one down there.
So...
Yeah, Despoina is actually listed in her epithets.
Yeah, so actually, just cross out Chthoniya and leave Aristi, the best. Persephone's thing.
The best
chthonic. If anyone
chthonic.
can't tell, I stand more Olympus very well.
I am still
hard.
mostly unfamiliar with it. I'll have to check it out sometime soon.
I'm just still one of the things I have is that I know how it does things with Apollo, and I'm it makes me so sad and uncomfortable with that. But I've heard all the other things, and I'm I do like everything else here that seems to go on.
Everything is so good, and okay, you can hear me out. How Riro treats Apollo in this book, is that really... I mean, it's better than how he's portrayed in Lore Olympus. However, he's still a jerk.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna say Apollo's the best person. He is still a jerk. He goes through a character arc. There's the series Trials of Apollo. He goes through a big character arc there. But yeah, I know the things. I don't want to spoil Lore Olympus, but I do know that he's a big ol' fucking jerk in that. So that makes me very sad.
And ironically, Artemis and Persephone are best friends.
But I also love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I stan it so hard. Zach is reading it right now, finally, after I've been begging him to get caught up because I can't talk about it because of spoilers, and he's like, oh, but I'm gonna read it. So I finally just chucked the book out and read it!
I instead listened to podcast episodes explaining things, so...
Oh my goodness, Charlie!
Both are acceptable. Yeah, well, at any rate, thanks for coming to our TED Talk.
Yeah, we have gots to move on.
Persephone.
We have...
This podcast stands Persephone.
I was gonna say, there's not a whole lot left to talk about besides, because that is one of her only things, is literally, the kidnapping. That's her big myth.
Right. I find it very interesting that, as much as we think of her as a spring goddess in, modern times, as much as that, she is a chthonic goddess in the original mythology, and so, after that, you're not gonna see stories about her because, It's to call upon her name could bring disaster upon your home. Like,
oh yeah.
Which, I mean, that makes sense why we don't hear a lot of stories then, or things that are written about Hades and Persephone and all of
Yeah, I just don't
gods.
think of her as being inherently chthonic, and so it's interesting that that is the original mythology.
Yeah.
But if you, from my perspective, just thinking about like cycles and things like that, and so if you look at the Eleusinian mysteries and, you know, all of the rituals that are involved with that, she was essential to not just the harvest and spring, but
life and death itself.
You know,
Yeah.
life itself. So everything is so linked, and, you know, if you think about us and humans, like, we can't survive without food and drink, and so without those things, we also die and we perish, and then when we came from the earth, and when we die, we return to it. So there's so many linkages between the harvest and life and death and those cycles, and I think that just seeing her as, you know, just a goddess of springtime or flowers, or just, you know, a chthonic or a god of death. It's, you know, you need both of those things, and it was, you know, so essential to the, I think, day-to-day life. So it's not necessarily something big and flashy. Unfortunately, we only know this really one big myth about her. But I just love to think about how cool and badass
I love
she
her.
actually
Before
is.
we go on to the chapter, I just want to bring up a little bit about her Roman stuff, just because it's very interesting, and it brings up some other things. So
You have to be so fast. We've been chatting
sorry.
way too much.
We keep riffing.
Yeah, I think we gotta keep
I just
going,
wanted to say, so, like, her name is Proserpina in Roman stuff. Although sometimes she's associated with Libera, who is paired with Liber, who is kind of Dionysus. Just have to connect everything back to Dionysus and his weird life-death stuff going on there, too. And she's associated with Isis, and he's associated with Osiris. I have to bring it up. It's all the same.
You are
Charlie,
standing there at a corkboard going, I've connected the dots.
I have.
I was like, Charlie with the actual
It's me every single time. I'm just gonna be like, guys, they're all actually like the same gods. There are actually only like 2 or 3 of them, and they're all just like the same person.
No, Charlie, there's one god. We're taking it all back to Christianity, baby.
Not again!
That's why I ultimately hate the Romans. I'm like, y'all just, like, took everything and then Romanized it and then made it Christian and said, oh, no, this JK, this was how it was all along.
Oh, God. We can't even get started on that. Moving on. Chapter time, boys.
No, we don't have time to
All
unpack
of
all of that.
All right. So Grover and Percy are talking, and we already set the scene with some kind of gross things, because it's the nymphs and the satyrs. There's actually just a lot of this in this, like, the beginning of this chapter, with, like, the guys chasing the girls, and it's like, oh, this is cute, it's fun, it's fine.
Yeah. The way that Rick has written it, he has removed the teeth from the entire situation, as he normally does, because, you know, until now he's been avoiding the entire satyr thing mostly, but now he's like... So what I believe is said in the chapter is that the nymphs told the satyrs that if they catch them, they'll give them a kiss. And they're, like, messing with them, and, like, right before they catch them, they'll turn into a tree. And it's, like, a whole, like, coquettish little thing. That is not...
It's supposed to be a comedy, but it's not funny.
Yeah, just like how just like how Disney tried to, like, glaze over the whole, like, Philoctetes being a weird, like, satyr gross guy and hating on all the women throughout the whole film.
Literally.
Sorry, I don't care how funny Danny DeVito is.
It's the same scene in Hercules, actually. Like, literally, Phil does the same thing, chasing them, and then they turn into trees and flowers and shit. Same shit.
You are
Don't love
correct.
it. So,
Different day.
Grover is in his, like, kind of gross phase right now. He's stalking the hunters?
Continually. Yeah, at least Percy actually calls him out this time, but, like, barely. Like, son, this behavior is unacceptable.
He's, like, making fun of him, like, you're a stalker with hooves. Like, not actually saying, bro, that's not cool. Like, don't do that. Yeah.
Bros, you
not
can
a good
stop
look, my
sexual
guy.
harassment. Call out your friends.
Please do. Please call out your friends if they're being this gross. Do not watch girls and, like, just wait outside their cabin to be close to them. That's kind of creepy. Don't do that.
It's not just kind of creepy, it's also illegal.
Don't like it. So he just, like, followed Zoe to the big house at 3 a.m. and got all of the tea. We do like the tea. We don't like how it was got.
Yeah.
It's pretty strong. This is like oversteeped English breakfast. It's almost bitter. No one can drink it. The tea is way too strong.
So Zoe tried to go in the big house because she had a terrible dream. Argus didn't want to let her in. And then finally, Chiron comes out. Can we talk about Chiron? In his pajamas and his curlers.
And his horse
Is it just
curlers.
the horse
I respect
tail?
it.
Is it also his head? I want to know.
I'm assuming no, or else it would have been mentioned. Like, it did not occur to me that centaurs don't have manes, just tails. Well, they just have human hair.
I mean, it's still hair that you can put in curlers. So
It is, yeah. No, it doesn't seem like it, though. I think he just wants to have a flouncy tail, and I respect it. I respect the hustle.
I don't know why, but I do picture him as wearing, like, footy pajamas. I don't know how that would work, but, like, maybe not footy pajamas. Maybe, like, what's the other one? There's so many types of, like, the onesie. Yeah, the onesie where it's not the feet, but it's got, like, the hood. But also it's got, like, a little hole for his tail to come out. But it's all one
like
piece.
A whole horse body little onesie.
It's a whole horse body
goodness.
and man half in a one piece.
Yeah, and it's got the little butt flap comedically that the tail comes out of. Yeah.
Yep.
I can see it.
I'm glad.
It's the whole thing.
You're welcome.
I can never unsee it.
I needed that to be put out into the world. And
okay, but how does he put it on? I can't even think about this. Moving on.
Magical zippers. Anyway.
That are just a bunch of woodland creatures, like, come in and, like...
They sew it onto him, and then they have to, like... it rips off, like, one of those, just, like, rip-off clothing. That's it. That's how it works. So, yeah, Artemis is in trouble, and Zoe had a bad dream. And we've already mentioned the kidnapped part, and how Persephone makes us upset. So,
but the point there is... who could kidnap a goddess. It's gotta be someone very powerful, but, Kronos shouldn't be able to, because as far as we know, he's a bunch of little wood chips in a box.
That's just some great imagery right there.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's like Patrick, it's like in SpongeBob, and Patrick has his secret box, and we're all like, what's in that fucking box? It's a secret. Yeah, it turns out it's just body parts of a dead Titan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fine.
You're correct. That's what's in there. Yeah. Okay. So this scene where Grover and Percy are talking here, it's like, Zoe had a weird dream, you had a weird dream. It's almost like, and then we get the comical moment of a satyr chasing a nymph, and Grover's like,
we can't get into it again. It'll just make us upset.
Love. Okay, but wait. I have connected the dots once again. And here's a new theory. So the reason why Percy and Zoe are having these dreams is because of love.
I don't know. I know. I call me someone that's standard. It might be some, like, unrequited, like, sexual tension.
No, they're having the dreams for the person they love.
Oh, okay. That makes much more sense, because I was about to say, I'm pretty sure I stand Percy and Annabeth, but I guess
that is not a crack ship I've ever... Nope. Not a thing.
Nope. I was confused.
No, I was just like...
Well, I'm glad we cleared that up.
Grover says that, like, at the moment they're talking about the dreams that they had for, like... So Percy's dreaming of Annabeth, the girl he loves. Zoe's dreaming of Artemis, who... I've heard a lot of the fandom be like, Zoe has an unrequited thing for Artemis.
as much as I always enjoy the gay interpretation of things, that wouldn't be where I would personally go with it.
I mean,
just...
It is also her goddess, so it is...
Yes, exactly. And to me, that's relevant enough, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously... power dynamic shit is, like, bad, but, like, someone who serves, like, a god and, like, devotes their life to them, I'm always, like, fascinated by that kind of relationship. I think that's really interesting.
I do too, and I also think it's really good that you bring up that power relationship art dynamic, right? Because one thing that I dislike about, I think, Artemis as a god, has been my favorite god portrayal in all 3 of the books of the series so far. I thought it was really solid. The only thing that is kind of weird and unsettling to me is how this goddess chooses to be in, like, a maiden, quote-unquote, form, which I guess is, like, 12 to 14-year-old girls, before, like, they become corrupted by boys and toys and, like, other more adult toys. And it's just... I mean, I get it. It's meant to be a YA, like, middle school grade, but just, you know, how it's portrayed and, like, the idea that, oh, like, once women, like, get to that certain age, it's okay, like, you know, for men, they're always going to be like that, but once women start having, like, those other thoughts, she's no longer pure, and, like, that, just, like, the whole idea of, like, maidenhood.
Well, I don't think that...
So, like, it's just weird, it's just weird that they're young, so, like, yeah, but, so that's why I would not feel comfortable shipping, any of those girls with a god that is, way older than them, but chooses to be their own age.
I mean, we don't know how old Zoe is at this time.
That's true, because they stay that age forever, I guess, because of the immortality bit.
And what does like Grover say about how she speaks, and she talks very old-timey and everything?
It's a way that comes across as formal because it's vaguely archaic.
So
they, thou.
Possibly she's a little bit older than, like, 12 years old anyway. Just saying.
Well, but you guys both said that you were bothered by young Artemis. It doesn't bother me at all that she chooses to portray herself as a girl who hasn't gone through puberty. Like,
No, I'm not saying I'm uncomfortable with her being the young girl. I think that's fine, because, like, but the whole idea, just how her attitude of, oh, but it's because once a woman is no longer, these things.
Yeah, and I don't appreciate
thinking of myself is if I'm a young girl, because, like, at my age, when I was in middle school, I was very hypersensitive to those types of things, and anytime, you know, but you don't know that you're sensitive at that time, right? And so, just, like, reading this book talking about how once a girl enters puberty, like, there's something that's no longer pure about her, or, like, it's, like, you're scorned by, you know, by this goddess. But anyways, that's how things be then, so you just gotta roll
takes,
with it.
But Artemis. All of the hot takes.
Yeah.
I had my whole spiel a few chapters back on how she's the goddess of just the whole LGBTQIA. That's my personal take on not book Artemis.
I love that take.
Mythology Artemis. Because she has male hunters as well.
You know what? I was about to just say, yeah, she has Hippolytus. So we'll give her the LGBTQIA plus angle.
I give her that.
I like that.
All right, let's continue on a little bit. So we get the shocking news that the hunters were scouting Annabeth, and Annabeth was thinking about it.
At least that is what is implied by the brochure. We don't know Annabeth's state of mind because we can't ask her about it.
That's why.
Right. Was it something that was an active conversations? Was it just like, because I know for me, like, when I'm walking around and people are like, you know, it's either outside of a show and it's the Shenyun people trying to sell me the Chinese New Year flyer, or people in Times Square that are like, here, join my cult, and I'm like, just give me my flyer and I'll take it and I'll leave. Okay, bye, thanks. Yeah, so maybe she was being polite.
But I just think it's, like, so brilliant that it's like, oh, Annabeth's not going to be here for a while, and, like, Percy really wants to talk to her about this thing, and now we're going to have to deal with that, probably for the whole book.
Percy has always been weird about the Hunters since they showed up, and now he's like, my best friend was thinking about, like, joining the No Boys Allowed club, like,
where I would never
get
to see her, like, just can't hang out with her ever.
He really does not like these girls. And, well, not even necessarily he doesn't like them, but he does not like the idea of people joining them at all. Like, the fact that when Bianca joins, he's like, we lost her. Which I feel like is a weird perspective to take.
Yeah.
Agreed. That's why I'm like, why all of the young women shaming it, like, so far?
It's just, there's so many complex things happening with the Hunters here. But I do love that we get, like, a little ... I like to say I took the news well. Narrator, he did not. You know?
Yeah,
exactly what I imagine happening here. So, yeah, Percy's trying to deal with this, and he feels like he can't really talk to Chiron about it. So then Percy's like, I'm gonna take matters into my own hands. He goes up to the fucking mummy in the attic.
And she ain't talking.
What's up?
But what is the body? Do we ever get, like, who this body is? Like, they talk about how it's the spirit of the Oracle in this body, but I'm like, but whose body is it?
All will be revealed.
You know, the caveman?
Well, she's in a hippie dress.
Well,
yeah.
Maybe that's a clue.
That.
Maybe that's not. Undetermined.
It's the red herring.
We will get that answer eventually.
So what is this? To be continued. Well, what is a message that the Oracle has for
dead
Percy?
silence
and zip.
Crickets. The answer is crickets. Just nothing. Nothing's happening. Figure it out myself. Okay.
That's not allowed, Percy.
I want to know why all the cool souvenirs are also up in the attic. Did they not have a cool place to put all these, like, magical items and shit?
Who knows? Percy should put his shitty horn up here. We don't need that Minotaur horn in our cabin.
You're correct, but also, it's something that he did. It's his trophy. You should use it as a weapon more often, actually.
I say we get rid of the memories of our trauma.
Collecting
trauma
dust.
Horn. Maybe
horny trauma?
Maybe Grover can make it into, like, a musical instrument. So
the relevant item up here is a scarf of Aphrodite that Annabeth put up here, apparently. Yep,
because
Annabeth is just all over this book, even though she's not here at all.
Exactly, that's why it's so good. It was so weird when it happened in The Lightning Thief. Like, Percy takes the scarf and he's like, oh, what's this? And then Annabeth's like, oh no, none of that love magic for you. Okay, why for you? Why are you allowed to have it, Annabeth? Huh?
He would have been enchanted by it. You know he would have. It's exactly something that would happen to Percy.
I know, but why is Annabeth immune? Come on.
Does that imply that Annabeth is straight as our bisexual headcanon?
No.
Just totally destroyed.
No. I think that Annabeth totally would also be enchanted by it, but, like, she thinks she's too wise.
She's just smart enough not to, like, smell it like an idiot.
Oh no, it's her hubris. It's definitely her hubris being like, oh no, like, I'm too smart for this. I can handle it. And then her bisexual ass is like, shit.
I'm pretty sure that Percy was just gonna fucking smell it. And Annabeth's like, please, for the love of God, stop.
I just want to know why they keep it. It's like, return it to Aphrodite, guys. That's her fucking scarf. Why doesn't she go back to camp?
That's not how heroes work.
You stole this
I pick
from
it up
me.
on a quest, it's mine now.
Heroes fucking suck, man.
I guess the idea is, I don't know, Aphrodite has so many scarves that, like, she didn't care about.
She's the one who left it in a water park.
Hephaestus.
Yeah, obviously she doesn't want it then.
Absolutely.
She doesn't want it back.
Canon accepted. So, we're gonna have her capture the flag game. And there's not a lot of campers here. We got a few people. There's just enough that it's 13 against 13, maybe? Something like that. That's pretty unlucky.
And that includes Nico D'Angelo,
who is a baby.
Bye.
Yeah. A wee babe.
I'm loving that there are some thoughts here about the Aphrodite cabin. But I do love that Selena's like, I'm gonna pulverize them because they think love is worthless.
Yes.
But I'm also
Excellent.
just like, why, Hunters? Why are you like this?
I would do anything for love. But I won't do that.
Except she will do that if that is pulverizing the
She
goddamn
will.
hunters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like, as much as I get annoyed by Rick's, like, black and white views of certain things, such as, what's the word I'm looking for? Celibacy? Or whatever, I do think it's funny and appropriate that the Aphrodite kids and the Artemis kids do not get along.
See, I want to live in a world where Aphrodite and Artemis are, like, begrudging friends. They're just like, we're coworkers, we get along, like, ish, but they're like, we have different views, it's okay, but we can still work together, it's okay. Like,
well,
I want them to not be like, we hate each other.
I also think that this is a juvenile move on all of the kids, and that once they get older and more nuanced, they'll, put aside their differences.
Except the Hunters can't get older, so they can't do that.
Unfortunate.
But in our gender fluid river here, I think my headcanon is Artemis is the protector of all of our NB ace friends. They're like, fuck this like horny bullshit. Like, Dionysus, yeah, you can have the orgies. We're gonna go out in the forest and like commune with nature and tap into our badass inner selves, and we don't need to have sex with another human to do that, because that's not our jam. Or have romantic feelings. So, like, yeah, all the demis, all the MBs, all the ace fam, come on over.
All the queers.
Welcome here. And celebrating as something positive versus you can be here until you decide to have sex, then you're out.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a time.
Here we go.
So
it's a time.
So Thalia and Percy are like, okay, so you're gonna be offense and I'm gonna be defense. But like they
both go to say that at the same time.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate. And Percy just kind of rolls over for Thalia because he doesn't want to make waves. But
I mean, okay. In this capture the flag thing, I think that, like, if the roles had been swapped, that Thalia also would have, like, done the impulsive thing there.
Okay.
You're not wrong, because I agree that they are pretty
So Thalia is saying, don't leave your post.
Yeah.
Like, and so her idea is, if Percy hadn't left his post, we wouldn't have had this trouble, he would have stopped Zoe, I would have brought back the flag, blah, blah, blah. And Percy's going, no, you had people on you, I had an opportunity, I needed to go. And so, What's interesting to me is that they set that up from the beginning. Thalia's going, no one leave your post. And Percy's going, unless you see an opportunity. And she's going, no, don't leave your post. And so if Thalia would have done that, then that makes her hypocritical because she's saying no one can do that but me. And I'd like to think she's a better person than that.
I don't
and
think
that she
is,
actually does have standards, but
they're too similar. I think they're just too similar in that, like, she definitely would do the thing. They both have a hero complex, just a little bit.
They definitely do. I agree there. And they're both of their dads also, like to think that they're all big and special. And when people transgress against them, not great.
But Percy's not like that. Percy's saying anybody could do this.
Oh, I'm saying no, their dads their dads are like that. Their dads don't like it when people tell them no. But for me, I think, where was I going to go with this? Fuck.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's okay. It's not your fault. We were talking about strategy and people, and they're too similar, and whatever. Just cut this bit, because I'm not gonna keep beating a dead horse, so.
So, if...
Is there a Pegasus around? Oh no,
I don't think there is right now.
Because that's...
Yeah, no horses yet. Like, Percy tried earlier, but Selena was there and he was like, guess I'll go to the gross attic.
Well, it's because Selena was arguing with the hunter at the time, actually.
Oh, right.
It was like,
and he was like, I'm not getting involved in that.
Nope, not for me right now.
Bye.
So, if y'all were playing this Capture the Flag, would you be offense or defense? I already know. I would definitely be defense.
You gonna hold the line, man?
I'm gonna hold the line. I don't know. That's always like a thing that's like scared me in those kinds of games. I'm like, I don't really want to be on the other person's turf.
I'm a defense.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm an offense. I'm that Gryffindor charge.
See, I was thinking I'd be
the battle.
Defense because I don't think I'm sneaky. Like,
that's fair.
Sneaking is hard.
No, you're not good at snucking. Your stealth rolls are
abysmal.
Not good. Roll with disadvantage.
Literally, I play a rogue in my D&D game right now, and my stealth rolls are always bullshit. It's so terrible.
Oh my goodness.
I always like playing a Dexy or a stealthy character. I like being, like, Gumby, very flexible, like, oh, can't get me now, I'm over here! Oh!
I would love that, but currently my character Frank is very much not dexterity.
A tanky paladin!
I also have disadvantage on sneaky stuff because I have plate armor.
Yeah, I always like to play, like, little, lithe, dexterous characters, but honestly, my personality and how I do things, tank. Like,
tank.
I should be tanking.
When I was in a restaurant, whenever I went on a mission, busy Friday night, I got plates I'm running, I gotta get to a computer, and someone's about to get there. Nope, I'm gonna get there first. They would call me the linebacker because I just, like, plow through people. Like, you need to get through a crowd that seems impassable. Hold my hand, baby.
All right.
Places.
Next page. We're running so long, boys.
We're going. So Nico's excited because we're going to be playing with swords. And also he looks so fucking adorable in his armor that's, like, falling off of him.
He is so baby.
Just a moment.
Son.
Just a moment for the baby. And then, we put the flag on Zeus's poop pile. I will never be over this. This is my favorite joke, okay?
Yeah.
The fact that it's Zeus's fist, but it's like, it looks like a poop pile, and Chiron won't let them rename it. It's fine. Call it Zeus's shit.
That always reminds me of God's thumb from Holes.
Yes! It's true.
Oh, yeah. Now the joke is at camp, anytime you just get a poo emoji with a lightning bolt.
Oh, that's so good.
I also think it's really funny that Percy is talking to Nico, and Nico's being a silly little guy, and then he's like, oh no, I sound like a parent. And then he's like, it's gonna be fun, buddy.
It's fine.
Little guy. Little friend.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not gonna tell you that you don't get the magic object, sorry. Even though I was in the same exact position as you were. Not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping that Nico was gonna save the day and capture the flag and win it like Percy did his first time, and someone was gonna claim him as his godparent.
That would be nice, but we can't have nice things.
No.
We can't have have a case of main character syndrome like the guy Percy.
Oh no, we cannot.
Sorry, there's only one protagonist here.
Nico does not have protagonist energy. He's just a small boy. Leave him be.
Which is why when they put him on defense and they somehow, to the surprise of no one, capture the flag and the Hunters win for the, I believe, 56?
Oh my god.
Something like that. It's real rough.
It was a lot. It's fine.
56.
56. I was right. I gotta go buy a lotto ticket.
My phone, sorry.
One of the pods I was listening to tried to do the math to be like, how many times have they done this? Have they been doing this since before Camp Half-Blood was a thing? It's just a lot. That's a lot. Do the hunters come by like every other year? What's up with this? Oh my goodness. Yeah, so Percy, you dumb bitch. You you shouldn't have done the thing. Do we think Thalia had it handled, though?
Percy doesn't think Talia had it handled, so...
But do we?
Yes, I did. I would have done and this is this is a bit that I was gonna do earlier that I dropped and forgot. So for me, military, like, it doesn't matter if you're in the military, if you're at camp, if you are babysitting and hanging out with you've been blessed with the opportunity to hang out with the cooler kids and the older kids, you do exactly what they fucking say. I'm sorry, but Talia has seniority, and so...
But she doesn't in this case. Percy is her co-captain. That was what they agreed on. Oh, they shouldn't have, but she doesn't have seniority over Percy.
Mm-hmm.
No, but as a co-captain, you have to trust your teammate. And quite frankly, one thing that I think, because we already saw in the earlier of the book when, Talia was like, hey, this is the plan, this is what we're going to do. Percy agreed to it and then completely just let his, I don't know if it's first character syndrome or his just, emotions, whatever it was in the moment, that he completely shirked that and then went and he tried to save Annabeth and she got kidnapped. And then now here, and he's like, no, you have my word. We're good. This is fine. And then he completely, within not even 30 seconds, goes and breaks that. And so I think trust here is a huge deal. And if I were Talia, I would be pissed.
Well, it's not that he didn't trust her, it's that he thought he could help. Like, he was thinking complex. She's got too many people on her, and I generally trust Percy's battle time instincts.
I don't know if either of them were fully right. I think the hunters would have run regardless of what they did.
And so now they're blaming each other because they have an opportunity to do so.
Because they're both hotheads, let's be honest.
Yeah, and you know what? The hunters probably knew that, because if you're thinking about a hunter, part of it is it's not enemy, the hunt. Like, right? Where you're in there, that's huge, like, tracking and sitting around and just knowing and learning the habits and biding your time. And so I guarantee you that they, like, knew this, like, they were there when things went down with Annabeth at Westover, and so here we are now, and I bet that they knew, like, some strategy.
Okay.
Who's the mole? Who did it? Who told them?
Okay, so if we're thinking that in either scenario that we've constructed here, either Percy's scenario or Talia's scenario, the hunters would have won, what maybe actually needed to happen was for Talia to listen to Percy at the beginning of the round and have her on defense and Percy on offense.
Probably.
Maybe that's the way for This is how Camp Half-Blood can still win.
Maybe. I give them a better shot on that one because, again, she does have a shield, which is better for defense.
and she has higher standards for how a soldier should act, and Percy is kind of a loose cannon who shouldn't be standing there at a post.
Yeah. I think that would have been a lot better. Do we like the comeback that Percy comes up with? She calls him Seaweed Brain.
Oh.
And he doesn't love that because it's not from Annabeth, and that's like the special thing that she calls him. And then he calls her Pinecone Face.
Okay, 1, shit nickname. 2, Percy, that is a recent trauma. Percy,
she was a tree.
Too soon, Percy.
It's bad on all counts. It's bad all around. Percy, that one, I love you, but no.
I don't know of a better one. Like, yeah, I got nothing. My brain, no thoughts. But,
well, if we're matching Seaweed Brain, then maybe just, like, Sparky. But, like, said derogatorily.
Sparky Boom Man.
You know, it I don't think Cars had come out yet, but Lightning McQueen?
Oh, you got me with that one.
There it is. I got it. So they were about to fucking murder each other in this scene.
Yeah.
Because
delightful.
Because, they're just gonna go off and they're getting so angry. But then
okay, I think it's very interesting that Talia is arguing with him, but when she pushes him and it shocks him backwards, she did not mean to do that, like, really obviously. And so, like, she's the one who escalates it into a fight, but it's entirely accidental.
I don't fully think...
I can't really blame either of them for how this is escalated.
I don't fully think Percy meant to, either. I do think he ended up saying it with, like, a sarcastic tone. But, like, I also don't think I think it was, like, instinctual that he hit her back there, too. And then it just...
Well, I don't think... He doesn't, like, hit her back right away. He's, like, in the river because she knocked him back. And then he's like, okay, you want to go? We're going? Like, he's 100% in for a fight now. It
just keeps going. It just keeps escalating. They could have
come at me,
each
bro.
Other right there. But the Oracle...
It's an Talia and Percy getting into an Agni Kai.
Yeah, basically.
Neither one of them is a firebender, but Thalia can do lightning, so sure.
Yeah, good enough.
Close enough there. Wait, it's like Azula versus Katara. That's what it is.
Yeah, perfect.
We did it. So the Oracle comes in like a Deus Ex Machina. Oh. See, I made the joke because we made the announcement today.
Bro, this episode's gonna come out.
I know it's gonna come out like who knows how fucking long from now, but still, it's funny to me. So the mummy can move? Is she a zombie now?
Well, she's always been able to move when she's being... No! Does she not get up before? She just, like, sits there and, like, the smog makes stuff happen?
Chiron's like she's never left the attic. Does that mean she never, moves? I don't know.
I don't know. Because I know that she would, like, open her mouth. I can't remember if she, like, sits up or anything like that.
I feel like it's just the mouth, but I could be wrong. I don't know. It's the green mist.
Either way, it's unsettling.
Yeah, she should not be out here. But I guess, since Zoe isn't a camper and wouldn't be going up to get a quest, gotta take matters into your own wrinkled, shriveled, decaying hands.
Well,
what is your quest?
I mean, I think the whole thing of, like, Chiron's like, your goddess told you to stay put. You can't go on a quest. Kind of thing is why they didn't think about the Oracle. But because Percy was like, hey, I want a fucking quest, the Oracle's like, it's not yours. I'm going over to Zoe.
Well, I think that the Oracle just knows what's up and what needs to be done. But I don't think that they give hunters, like, quests like this. Like, generally, they're just doing shit with Artemis. Like, I don't think that they would ever think to send her up to the Oracle. And so the Oracle's like, I got you.
Yeah. But let's not forget, like, some of the hunters are demigods, so, like, they could go on quests. They are heroes.
But they're not campers.
Yeah, exactly. So, what do we think of this prophecy? It's metal as fuck.
So, all of the prophecies have been bad.
Yeah.
We have, you will fail to say what matters most in the end. We have, you'll fail without friends and go back alone. Like, and that always worked out. But in this one, we have perish and die, which is concerning.
We have, one's lost, one's gonna perish, one's gonna withstand a curse. Fun stuff.
And in my deepest, best Galadriel voice, just showing up out of nowhere. 5 shall go west to the goddess in chains. 1 shall be lost in the land without rain. The bang of Olympus shows the trail. Campers and hunters combined prevail. The Titan's curse must one withstand, and 1 shall perish by a parent's hand.
Wonderful. Beautiful. Love it.
There we go. Throw some reverb on there and call it a day, my friends.
Do our best.
Yeah, I should have just cast me as Galadriel.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll cast you as the mummy oracle. How about that?
Nice. How do you look in a yellow hippie sundress?
I probably own several. Let's go. Just give me a cute little flower crown. You know, someone call Persephone, the goddess of flowers, and make me a flower crown. To match my hippie tie-dye.
Perfect. And that's the end of the chapter. Which isn't upsetting at all.
It isn't.
No. Way to end. Nothing ambiguous here. I mean, we pretty much don't have to read the rest of the book. We know exactly what happened.
Exactly.
The
Every
Oracle
detail,
just told us.
in fact.
Clear as
Alright,
day.
guys, you got plugs?
I have to think. What have I been watching recently?
I do.
Alright,
go
please do.
Because I actually thought of mine. I did my homework. Is it okay if I have two very quick ones? They're both books?
Sure. Go ahead.
Great. Well, one of them is, I feel, a good network plug, and then the other is a good personal, on-brand mythology plug. So I'm a huge reader, so I have been reading very, very voraciously as of late. And the first one that I read was a book called The Blameless by E.S. Christison. And it is our book club of the month book for September. No, this is August, for August. And it has been wonderful. It's a young, like, YA middle school fantasy, but you start in media res just like you did with, you know, the Titan's Curse, and it just goes full speed ahead. It's a young girl with her 3 uncles, like heir to the throne, and revenging like her parents' murder. It's awesome, and the magic system's really solid, and the writing's great, so highly recommend. It is proof to me that as an adult who still loves young adult, that justifies my love that I still have for young adult.
Good. I'm really excited to start reading it.
Yeah, and you know how else people can if you join any of our awesome Patreons, whether it's for the Eldest Gods or the restricted section, or maybe even my Cabbages, you know, whatever your cup of tea is, for the lowly paltry amount of $1 a month, you can get in on our Discord and our awesome community, and one of those benefits is a book club server. We have a ton of nerds. No matter what your fandom is, we're there for you. So that's my first plug. And the second plug is for a book called Pandora's Jar, Women in the Greek Myths by Natalie Haynes. Haynes has a podcast with the BBC, looking at the mythology. So that's like, you know, people are up that, and that's her cup of tea. This book is looks at a series of essays about women's in the myth. My favorite was about Medea. It talks about Penelope, Pandora, you know, and just really does a really good job of doing a modern look through lens of what these women have meant, not just in Greek myths, but throughout the ages, and their cultural relevance now, and gave me some pretty good ideas for other books I may want to read, and I learned some new things. So
I love that it's called Pandora's Jar. That's my favorite part.
Instead of Pandora's box.
Jar. Just soon.
I think Pandora's Jar was a euphemism. That's all I'm saying. Like, get your head out of the gutter and back in the jar.
All right. Okay. I have one that I was thinking of during the episode when we were talking about Persephone a lot. Please, for the love of God, listen to Hadestown. It's so good. The fun thing about Hadestown that's relevant to what we talked about this episode is that it's the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, which we are probably all familiar with by now. But it is also a story about Hades and Persephone's relationship. It's about these two relationships and how they are going and various things. And so, what's happening is that their relationship is deteriorating.
Yes.
And so Hades lets Persephone go and brings her back from in spring and fall, and he's been letting her go later and coming for her earlier. And so the seasons are all messed up in the story, and people are going hungry. And that's a lot of what Eurydice's story is about, is that she's been food insecure in her life. And so the fact that Orpheus is a flighty musician and can't really take care of her in a way that she needs a partner to help her, it's a whole thing. It's very, very interesting. So if you've heard of Hadestown before and haven't bit the bullet and listened to it and tried it, it's a sung through musical, so you're going to get the entire plot if you listen to the album.
Okay,
it's incredible. Please just do it.
I didn't know that part. I'm really bad with like I have to go see it before I listen to it kind of thing.
Right.
So like I have to think about it. But I think I have like heard some of the songs like vaguely, at least a little bit. I'll have to go check it out.
It's incredible. Like the musical stylings of it are just mwah.
I've never seen it, but I've heard nothing but good
definitely
things about
check it out. Like if the only thing you can do is listen to it, just do it.
I think I've seen cosplay of
like
it.
It is so worth it.
So let's see, my plug, I actually can't remember if you've already plugged this right, but, guess what I watched most of today with my mom? We finished it. Spy Family.
Oh, yes, we did talk about this once, but go ahead, please. Please do.
Gonna re-plug that show because, my goodness, it's so cute! I died! So cute. I died so hard. We stan anime here. We stan it.
You gots to. Who's your favorite of the main family?
How can you choose a favorite?
Can you even pick?
How can you choose? I love them all so much. So, if you don't know, this is a show, where the spy, the main guy, I had to remember what his name is, because I can't call him either one of the names that they give him in the show. I'm like, Twilight is like his code name, and then his fake name is Lloyd, and I'm like, God, I kind of hate both of these, but I love him as a character.
What's your problem?
Because I'm like, Twilight, I think of Twilight, so, my brain dissociates from this, But he's the spy, and he has to create a fake family for this weird fucking... God, it's so convoluted that he has to make this family to get his child close to this other person's child so he can get close to this person so he can stop the war. It's so fucking...
Yeah, don't worry about it.
It's so fucking convoluted. We haven't even gotten there.
Just another day, the plan is clear as day. We'll figure it out as we go along.
But the important part is the family, because that's the best fucking dynamic. He adopts a daughter, and she's a telepath, or she can read minds, so she knows he's a spy. And then he gets a wife, very quickly, because her brother's like weird, and people are weird because she's unmarried. So they're like, yeah, let's just get married out of convenience. And she's an assassin. It's all fine. It's totally fine.
It's totally fine that his wonderful wife is secretly an assassin who, if she knew he was a spy, would kill him.
This is Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
It is, but they also have a child who knows both. But she knows both of their identities. She knows exactly what's going on. But also she doesn't because she's like 4.
God! But also that's so true though, because kids know so much more about what's going on.
They're so perceptive.
Without knowing that they know what's going on. To them it's just like, oh, that creepy guy over there that y'all have totally ignored but has been standing there for the past 20 minutes?
But she's got superpowers. We don't even know what's happening with her yet. I just love the face that she makes.
It's really exciting.
The face she makes every time, like,
it's so good.
Somebody lies or says something weird, and her eyes just go so wide, and I'm like, I love her. God, I love her. And I love him.
So what I also do like is that, as much as their family is fake, quote unquote,
they're so real.
They do work very hard to be good parents to this girl because they're the only ones that she's got. And it's so sweet. Like, especially the mom character, because like, as far as she's concerned, the marriage is fake, but the parent-child relationship is entirely real.
Yeah,
like she doesn't know.
She doesn't know
about the spy mission, and so And so she's really invested in, I need to be a good mother to this girl. Like, she needs a mother in her life. And I'm like, I'm crying. They're so good.
Yeah. My mom just kept saying every 5 seconds, she's like, when are they gonna realize that they are a family? Like, they are a family. Come on. Yeah. And I'm like, I think that's gonna be like the end of the show. Like,
all right. Alex, you want to remind the people where on the internet you live?
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, I am here way too much, but, the friends are great. So I'm Alex, co-host of my Cabbages and Avatar podcast, also on the Deus Ex Media Network. You can find us on Twitter at CabbageCast, and then on Instagram and Gmail, my cabbagecast@gmail.com, because annoyingly CabbageCast was already taking, but I'm not griping. And we also have a Patreon that you can also check out, and just really happy to be here. Charlie has been on a few of our episodes.
All the weird ones.
Ray, hope to have you maybe on in the future. So super excited. Can't wait. Come join us.
I've
We're one
only
big
been
happy
on the
pod
weird
family.
episodes, and that was entirely my choice.
As it should be. Yeah.
I chose Appa's Lost Days and Nightmares and Daydreams because those are
tonally as different as anything could possibly be.
Well, it was purposeful.
Very.
I was like, you know what? I was on for the saddest episode that most people skip, so I gotta be on for like a really weird fucking fun episode,
that people also skip because it's like we're too weird.
No one likes me. It's fine. It's been a good time here. Thank you so much,
has been.
Alex, for joining us.
Thank you so much
not
for
old
having
dead
me.
friend.
It was a blast. No, very much alive, and the sleepovers, anytime you want to come hang out in Cabin 13, we'll have a coffin ready.
Yeah, I'll...
Just like that. See, we're gonna have my coffin. It's gonna be black, but there's gonna be so many plants. Like, I'm bringing up the Persephone vibes up in here.
See, Charlie, this is how a nice camp friend deals with people who come visit their cabin.
No, I tell you, get out of my fucking cabin so I can, what do we do in this chapter? So I can go like try to kill you during Capture the Flag later, and I don't know, the Oracle can just come and fuck it up.
Am I a hunter now? Is that canon?
You said you would have gone with the hunters.
Yeah.
You said you would have. So go. Leave me alone.
Okay. Fine. Bye.
I'm gonna go learn to surf with the dead hippie Oracle. Okay, bye.
You can find this podcast socials at Of the Eldest Gods Pod on Instagram and at Of the Eldest Gods on Twitter. You can send an iris message to us through oftheeldestgodspod@gmail.com. If you'd like to support us financially, join us at patreon.com/oftheeldestgods. By becoming a patron, you can join the Deus Ex Media Discord server, where you'll be able to chat with us and other listeners about episodes and anything Percy Jackson related. Our $5 Patreon tier also gets you access to Against All Odds, our monthly bonus show. There, we'll talk about a wide variety of topics, which usually have something to do with mythology. No promises. You can check out our merch store on TeePublic to find custom designs made by Charlie. Or, if you cannot or do not want to support us financially, we'd really appreciate a rating, a review, or letting your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. You can find me, Ray, at HeyHeyRay, spelled R-A-Y-E, on Twitter. If you want to hear more from me, check out Barbie Movie Slap, a podcast where my co-host Ted and I discuss Barbie's cinematic universe.
You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms, but on Twitter, I'm at GreenPixie123, which I'm totally not salty about. I also have an art Instagram that I sometimes use at GreenPixieDraws. I sometimes do the YouTube thing on my channel, Charlie Mack, that's M-A-C-K, and I also have another podcast on the network called Fandom's Gone Wrong, where my mom and I talk about movies, TV shows, books, whatever other fandoms we enjoy. You can find that on all the major podcasting apps. Our music was written by Isabel Strauss-Riggs and recorded and edited by Ian M. Riggs. You can find Izzy at Kane_I, that's I as in the body part, on Instagram and Twitter. She also currently makes video essays on the YouTube channel Kane I. Feel free to message her about making music for your project or editing your podcast.
Of the Eldest Gods is proud to be a part of Deus Ex Media, which features great podcasts like My Cabbages, an Avatar podcast that follows the true hero of the Avatar The Last Airbender series, the Cabbage Cart Guy.
Coffee, tea, honor, cabbage. Long ago, the four elements lived in harmony. Then, shit went totally cray when the Avatar attacked. Only the Cabbage Man, merchant of fine cruciferous vegetables, could stand against his trolling. But when the world needed some dank veg, he vanished. 10 years have passed, and my partner and I have started a new podcast.
My Cabbages! An Avatar podcast.
A weekly show about Avatar The Last Airbender. Whether it's Sokka's new line of cologne.
Hey, look at you, sitting there on a seal. Well, now look back at me. I'm on an even bigger seal. Now look away.
D&D related antics.
You have to make an acrobatics check for that, and Aang just, unzips his pants and whips out his d20s. He's just like, I got this.
Or randomly breaking into song.
Go bending waterfall.
We'll stumble our way through the greatest show ever made, one episode at a time.
You can reach us at CabbageCast, which is our Twitter, or
subscribe wherever you catch pod.
Rotten cabbages? What kind of slum do you think this is?
Of the Eldest Gods is based on the series by Rick Riordan. Right now we are discussing Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Remember to follow us on your favorite podcatcher and meet us back here every Thursday.
I'm gonna turn on a light real quick. Just give me a second.
You do that. Oh, that's cool. Da, 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 da. And Alex said, "Let there be light."
Deus Ex Media.